Hey music fans, Ari Koinuma here and welcome to the Power of Music show. This is a new series and today's episode is going to be an introduction and overview of what this is about. For those of you who are new, I am a songwriter and guitar player and recording artist. I have a solo project called Aristotle's Hope and I have 2 albums and a number of singles under that name. I was first exposed to rock and roll in English language. I'm originally from Japan, but in English language, I heard it in my early teens, and I was just really blown away. And since teenagers, rock and roll has been my obsession, and I've always wanted to make as powerful of music as those that came from my heroes. And to do that, I've been studying and analyzing songs that really spoke to me to study what made it so powerful. Now, everybody's different and music is a subjective thing, and then what speaks to me may not be the same thing as what speaks to you, but there certainly is best practice or elements that go into creating a powerful piece of music. And if you put enough of these elements into a song, that maximizes the chance of that song end up becoming a powerful piece of music. Whether the song becomes famous or popular, now that is outside the realm of music making, and a lot of the elements are not exactly in the control of the artist and the artistic team. But in terms of actually making each and every one of the songs maximize its potential, right? So that your catalog has this certain quality and standard to it. There's a lot that artists can do to sort of make that happen. It's always been mystifying to me that obviously some artists or some acts seem to have higher ratio of great songs in their catalogs more so than the others. And they were not necessarily, how should I say, in direct correlation with how popular some of those songs were. Like there are some acts that had huge hits, amazing songs that when you look at the album as a whole, there might be 1 or 2 of songs of that caliber and the rest were kind of fillers. And especially acts that have been around many years and have put out many albums, you can kind of tell that the artists put these songs in knowing that a lot of these songs never get played live, right? And that they're not the hit material, and the quality is just not up there. And it's always felt like a missed opportunity to me, in that you're putting out a collection of songs and there is quite a bit of difference in terms of the standards or the quality that they achieve, especially in terms of like songwriting and arrangements and things like that. Usually like the performance and the production are consistent throughout the album, but in terms of the first 2, that can vary quite a lot. So what I plan to start out doing in this series is to take a song, and that I'm going to sort of look at it from 4 different sort of perspectives or layers that I think goes into every music making, which is the songwriting, the arrangement, the performance, and then the production. Songwriting is like the script to a movie or TV show or play, in that if the script is not good, obviously then it really sort of compromises the quality of the show, right? And the same thing can be said of songs. However, in my observation, it's one of the more mystifying aspects of making music, in that it I think that the quality of the standards could be raised there, in that there's a lot that can be improved from the performance and the production, that they kind of take a not as good as it can be material and then just kind of put it through the ringer and hope that the audience accepts. I'm not a great fan of that approach. I really would like to get the song right in the beginning and then get the song to be a place where I'm like, wow, this is a great song. I can't wait to, record it or perform it because the raw material is great. Like all arts, what makes a song great is a subjective and personal thing that is sometimes hard to really quantify or put a finger on exactly what it is. But that being said, though, I read somewhere that, for example, John Lennon and Paul McCartney wrote an acoustic, or there was a test that they put their songs through, and is that they play it with just acoustic guitar and this, just sing over it and to see if the song sounds good in that context. That approach may not apply to some metal and like progressive rock type material, but I think the spirit of it does, in that if you take a song to its bare essentials, like the minimum that it takes to sort of function as a song, does it still sort of convey the goods in that format? So to that end, things like the chords or the harmony of the song, there might be a riff or a certain hook that is built in as the identifier or heart of that song's core identity. And of course, the melody is something that people's attention goes to first and foremost. And so does it really keep the audience attention? And then in terms of the songs with words, lyrics, right? Does it really sort of articulate or again grab people's attention, keep it throughout the song? So these are the elements that go into songwriting, and there is sort of a best practices or certain standards that you can put into each of these areas to make sure that, again, the song itself is as good as it can be before you move to the next layer. The next layer is the arrangement, and in my opinion, arrangement is like a hidden art in music. And arrangements is referring to the instrumentation of a song and what parts they play when you're performing it, and it can make or break a song. Like a mediocre song can still have just its potential maximized through an expert arranging, whereas the greatest song could be totally botched if it's not arranged very well. So that's another area that I enjoy looking at and going, especially there are some songs where I listen to and go, I think that it would be, better or more powerful, if it was arranged this way or arranged that way, or, if that instrument didn't do that at this time but waited until this year, that kind of thing. Even for us musicians, arranging and songwriting is something that we're kind of doing it on instinct, and it's often hard to put a finger on when something is right or wrong, or as good as it can be, or it's still mediocre. But that being said, I don't think that's an excuse for not analyzing it and sort of not coming up with some best practices that can be done in those areas to employ, so that you can sort of have your material again meet a certain standard or quality consistently. So those are two areas that I will start and probably spend most of the time looking at when I'm looking at a song. The third one is probably the most obvious one, which is the performance, right? The song and its arrangement need to be performed in order for us to listen to it. And when you say that somebody's a musician, you immediately think, okay, what instrument do you play? And you envision that person, practicing the instrument. And for good reason, in that performance is like the delivery vehicle, and a great performer can make so-so material sound still amazing, right? And I mean, I often hear, like with great singers, people saying, oh, you could just be singing a phone book and I'll still listen to it. That sort of thing. And so a great performance can transcend lesser material, and perhaps that might be one of the reasons why I often think that the material can be a little bit lacking or could be a little better or miss opportunities in the area because they go, oh yeah, so and so is gonna sing that and that's gonna still sound amazing anyway. Performance is powerful, and the skilled performers and put them in an environment where they can perform at their best and um, just to have them deliver the experience of the music. I mean, obviously that's the most important part in the chain, that is the music making. So it makes sense. But that being said, that's not the only part there is, and that the other two other layers that come before and then one other layer that comes later still have a pretty big part to play in the art of music making. And speaking of the last part I will talk about is what I call production. In the production is about the setting in which the music is being performed. So if it's like a live performance, it could be like the room or the concert hall or club, where it's set at, and then of course if it's rock and roll, there's a PA that's sort of blasting the music and the speakers, and there's a mixing guy somewhere in the venue mixing the music, right? That's all part of the production. And then since we're gonna primarily deal with recording production is obviously a major deal. There's just a lot that goes into recording production that if you're just sort of a music fan, or even myself, right? I mean, I when I'm enjoying music, I'm not paying attention to, oh, that's a great reverb, or that vocal sounds nice, or whatever. I'm just taking the music where the production becomes not of concern. But production is the final layer in the music making, the part that's closest to the audience. So it can, bring out the best in the material and the performance, or it could just create like a distorted, sort of ambiguous, incompetent sort of picture of what is being presented. So that is another important aspect as well. So that's a lot. I mean, we are talking about 4 different layers: songwriting, arrangement, performance, and production. They all have to be done at competent or above level in order for a piece of music to come across as powerful and engaging. And no wonder the world is full of mediocre music, because something of perhaps more in more than one of those areas, it just it didn't deliver, right? And so but instead of picking apart those places, what we want to do is to look at great songs and great productions and performances, and try to sort of learn what went right, what is good about those situations, so that we can apply those in other situations. And then for the music fans, again, understanding what makes music good, I think bring out a greater enjoyment. I think you get more out of listening to some of your favorite songs by knowing what is so good about it. So I hope you come along for the ride and the journey, and along the way we'll listen to some really great pieces of music, and we'll figure out what makes them so good. Along the way, I also want to venture out to perhaps like interview other artists and do other things beyond just listening to music and analyzing it. But that will be the heart of what I do in this platform. So hope you enjoy the ride with me, and get something out of some of our favorite music in new and fresh and exciting ways. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next show. Thanks.